Hi everyone, I'm Law of the West, and for this video I wanted to give a quick overview about how the engineering gameplay is going to work. That way when the first iteration hits the persistent universe, you're already going to be up to speed when it comes to how its various elements are going to function. Resource networking is going to be the thing that finally adds purpose to multi-crew gameplay. And at its core, this system is going to connect a producer like the cooler or the power plant with a consumer like your shield generator, engines, weapons, and radar. But this is going to apply to more than just ships. Every base, starport, distribution center, space station, and even outposts are all going to function in a way that's based in the same resource network that you'll find in your ships. This is going to be a scalable system that's going to be compatible with all kinds of different types of fuel sources, and so it's going to be easy to expand it to include different fuel types that are going to have all kinds of various benefits. You're going to have full control over how much power you assign to each component, and now that all your components are physicalized, they're going to be vulnerable to taking damage. And when they fail, various aspects of your ship are going to fail right along with them. Things like your power plant, shield generators, radar, coolers, quantum drive, and weapons are all going to function based off of this system. And we're going to have some new components coming like the power relays and the life support generator. And they're looking to replace the hit point system that they currently have and rework it so that it's completely connected to your components. And so you'd have to damage a ship's components if you wanted to disable it. And before you can do that, you're going to have to rip through its shields and armor to get at them. This is where the repair mechanic is going to come into play. It's going to allow you to take a ship that's dead in the water and bring it back to life for a second chance. And for anyone that doesn't like this idea, think about how many sci-fi shows that we've seen that have had the main character do exactly that same thing after having been handed a devastating loss. And from there, they'd take their damaged ship and after some quick thinking and heroic actions would end up turning a certain defeat into a decisive victory. Since life support is a new resource, I'd like to take a second and talk about that. It's going to control the temperature, atmospheric composition, and internal pressure for all the rooms within your ship. You're going to need to make sure that it's producing enough resource to maintain a healthy atmosphere within your vessel. That way it can passively replenish a ship's oxygen supply, and it's going to be used to refill a room with air after it's been vented. We can also alter a room's temperature, which for now is going to be mainly connected with putting out fires by turning down the temperature and cutting the oxygen to that room. But I can see a lot more potential for how you could use these features in the future. Another thing that's coming to components gameplay is misfires. And misfires have already been in the game for a while now, but they're going to be expanding on this concept by making components start to misfire if they're damaged, if they get too hot, or if they become too old. A misfire could cause a component to take extra damage or stop working temporarily, or even have it shut down entirely until it's been repaired. Power plants can experience a critical failure if they reach zero health, and if that happens, they can explode and end up taking the entire ship along with them. Players can stop this from happening by repairing it, which would halt the meltdown and bring it back to life again. Or they could simply remove the component and chuck it out an airlock. And that brings me to damage penetration. Certain weapons are going to be able to penetrate right through the hull of a ship and deal damage directly to your components. Penetration values are going to be an inherent function of a weapon, and this kind of attack is going to be passively mitigated by the ship's armor, which is something that's going to get chipped away as it takes damage. And the active way to counter damage penetration and misfires is going to be done by repairing your ship's components, and you'll be able to use your multi-tools repair function for this. You are going to be able to repair items that have been destroyed, but not back up to their full HP levels. At least, you're not going to be able to with your multi-tool, but you could restore them back to 100% health if you bring them to a shop to get fixed. You could also just completely rip out a damaged component and replace it with a new one. But this is only going to work if they're a size 1 or a size 2. Anything that's bigger than that can't be removed using a handheld tractor beam. So that covers most of what you're going to be doing while you're running around trying to repair and replace components. But there's going to be another aspect to power management, and that's going to involve all the ways you're going to be able to manipulate your components using an MFD or engineering station. When you open the power management screen, you'll start out by looking at a 3D image of the ship. It's going to highlight the location of all of its components and where the relays are that they connect to. You'll be able to see their status, which is going to be represented by a color code. And the first stack on the far left will be an indicator for the ship's fuel, which is not going to be used for the initial release. Next to it is your power plant, and it represents how much unused power you have in reserve. You can then distribute this resource to all the other components in any way that you want. On the right side of each of the power bars, you'll be able to see their temperature, and if they overheat, they'll stop functioning until after they've cooled down. This is where your coolers will come into play. You're going to have a limited amount of resource to work with, so you'll need to give enough power to your coolers so that they can produce enough resource to meet the demands that are being placed upon it. If that demand isn't fulfilled, then you're going to have some failures. And to help manage all this, you're going to have a notification screen. It'll let you know what components are misfiring so that you can go send an engineer out to go repair or replace them. You're also going to be able to create presets and then apply those presets to whatever ship you're using. Not all ships are going to be the same, but you can still use your preset as a baseline to work with and then hand tailor it to apply to the ship that you're currently in. Well, that's going to be it for this quick overview on how the resource management and power distribution system is going to work. I've been your host, Law of the West. Thanks for watching, and take care.